And this next fight, this is a great fight. Southpaw versus Southpaw striking fight. We got two guys that are good boxers. I think Kopylov is definitely the better kicker, but he likes to use the jab, get in the pocket, and land those really nice, crisp pull counter combinations. And we know Chris Curtis, the guy comes forward, kind of awkward but effective defense, and then he lands those big hooks. He has great boxing in the pocket, picks his shots well, big power, great cardio, great durability, and he just finds his shots and then takes you out. Both these guys are body snatchers too. They have body finishes with kicks and punches. So, man, I mean, I think it's going to be a fun fight on the feet. Kopylov, his last fight, mixed in some takedowns and was able to win the fight that way against Cesar Almeida. And I think that if he wasn't able to get those takedowns, it looked like Almeida was kind of getting to him with the pressure and the volume on the feet. And I think that Chris Curtis can do the same thing. It's just the one issue with Chris Curtis in this one is the age and the fact that he's coming off an injury. So is he going to look the same as we saw him before, or is he going to kind of slow down a little bit, maybe struggle to defend the takedown, maybe struggle to cut the cage off and just get pot-shotted from the outside and beat up by Kopylov? Because we've seen Chris Curtis struggle to get to Jack Hermanson, kind of just get out, struck from the outside, and I think he was a little bit worried about the takedown, and just Hermanson was moving around and he couldn't corral him. But with Roman Kopylov, the issue with that is I think that Kopylov, his cardio is a question mark, man. I mean, even though he has been able to knock guys out in later rounds, he's gotten taken down, been able to get back up to his feet and then get the finish. I do think he slows down, and I think he likes to pick his shots and kind of have prettier fights on the feet. So if Chris Curtis can really walk him down and make it more of a war, start to land his big shots, I think that Kopylov could start to wilt a little bit. And if Chris Curtis can defend the takedowns, I think that Curtis could get the finish in the later rounds or take over the fight. So I definitely think the value is all on Chris Curtis in this one. It's just going to be how he looks. Is he going to look washed, or is he going to come in here and looking like the Chris Curtis that just fought Brendan Allen, where I think that if he does, he could be very competitive here. He just kind of has to take away the jab from Kopylov. He has to close the space and defend the takedowns, keep it standing, make it more of an ugly fight. And I think that he might have to take some damage early, but I see him as the more durable guy. He's only been knocked out one time in his entire career, and even though Kopylov's never been knocked out and he's durable as well, I think that he shows more reactions to getting hit and he kind of wears down a little bit more. And I think that Curtis could out-volume him and kind of beat him up down the stretch and do damage. So I'm leaning with the veteran here, Chris Curtis. I mean, you look at Kopylov, he doesn't have as much experience to me in longer fights, and I don't see him getting Chris Curtis out of there early or being able to wrestle Chris Curtis. So if Chris Curtis can make it a war, I think he just has more experience in that type of contest, and I think he can kind of grit it out. So give me Chris Curtis as the underdog here to get this win here.